Chapter 34. Mama put dinner on the table that day while Papa rode Queenie around the block. After we ate, I started clearing out the barn shed for a garage, but couldn't make much headway for folks dropping by to see the automobile. They admired the shiny red paint, blew the horn, tried out the seats, and of course asked to ride. Some were jealous, I could tell. There is a price to pay for having the first something in town. But Leroy, Smiley, Pink, and Dunce McCall were as excited as if it was their folks' car. They asked me all kinds of questions. What's the choke for? And let me see the toolbox. And how do you start it? And how do you stop it? And how fast will it go? It helped feelings a lot when, by the next Sunday, Papa and I had practiced enough to take passengers out. Aunt Loma bid first, her and Uncle Camp. Papa took Aunt Carrie home after dinner, then let me drive Pink and them around the block by myself. Later, we went and got Miss Effie Bell. Poor old Mr. Bubba, he wanted to go so bad, but Miss Effie Bell thought the excitement would be too much for anybody 102. I think that meant she was scared he might wet his pants. Papa offered to ride Grandpa around, but Grandpa wouldn't even get in. A car is a fool, dangerous contraption. Worse than a bicycle, he said. I expect Miss Love would like to go, though. Instead of asking her, Papa said, I just remembered, Mr. Blakesley, I told Mary Willis I'd be back by now. And we drove off. It was so pointed that I felt embarrassed for Miss Love's sake, but pleased for Mama's. The next morning I hitched up Big Jack to the buggy and took Grandpa and Miss Love and the Mountain of Grips to the depot. They would go to Savannah by train and get a boat there for New York City. Standing in the shade of the cold Sassy tree, I watched their train pull out, then drove Jack home, turned him into the pasture with Miss Love's horse, filled their feed boxes in the watering trough, fed the chickens, and got the toy family Bible off the desk in the hall like Mama told me to. She had asked Grandpa for it, and he'd said, sure, you can have it, come get it. But Mama thought it best to wait till they left for New York. I hoped it would be years before she looked in that Bible and saw how Miss Love had written herself into the family. I may have said already that on Wednesdays all the stores in Cold Sassy closed for the day at noon. On Wednesday that week we left in the Cadillac right after dinner to drive out to Cutting Temps and bring Mary Toy home. The trip was up one hill and down another on humpback roads, 2 feet deep in dust all the way. Papa worried about dark thunderheads in the distance. Lord knows we needed rain, but if the road got wet, we'd soon be 2 feet deep in red mud instead of dust. The clouds passed off, though, and we had only one puncture, and everybody at Cutting Temps liked to have a fit about the motor car. Mary Toy just couldn't believe it was really ours. The purple had faded out of her hair, but it was still a right peculiar shade of red. We got home too late for prayer meeting, so after supper the 4 of us just sat out on the veranda together in the cool dark. Mary Toy was curled up in Papa's lap in the swing, and Mama sat content beside them. Sprawled on the top step, I leaned against a turned post and listened to the swing's slow creaking. It felt like we were a real family again. I'm glad you home, Mary Toy, I said and meant it. Will's tired of gathering eggs, Mama teased. But maybe Mary Toy's forgot how, said Papa, tickling her ribs. I ain't either. Cutting Temps got a heap of laying hens. Guess what was in one of the nests, Mama? A great big black snake. Lord help us, Mama shrieked. He was sound asleep, Mary Toy said. Just nice as he could be. Me and Sarah Christine, Sarah Christine and I, Mama corrected, but I could tell her mind was on the snake, not the grandma. We petted him. No. Yes'm, and I put him in my apron and went and showed him to Cutting Temp. Lord help us. For a while, all you could hear was crickets cricketing and the swing creaking, back and forth, back and forth. Mary Toy said sleepily, Mama, what am I supposed to call Miss Love? Do I call her Granny? Say Miss Love, just like you've been doing. Mama's voice was hard. She's not your grandmother by any stretch of the imagination. She's only your grandpa's wife, and there's a big difference. On Sunday, which was the first Sunday in August, we drove the Cadillac to the Presbyterian Church out at Hebron for the annual reunion and dinner on the grounds. Grandpa Tweedy and Mrs. Jones were there, of course, and we took them to ride. Next Wednesday, Papa took the whole day off, and we went to Comer and back, which he thought had never been done before in one day. If the Cadillac had been a circus elephant, it couldn't have done a better job of taking Mama's and Cold Sassy's mind off of Grandpa Blakesley and Miss Love. Chapter 35.